日本時間9月26日、米ポッドキャスト番組、トークドジャース2ミーに、ドジャース専属のリポーター、キルステン・ワトソンさんが出演しました。そこでは、カーショー投手の人柄について、自身の生い立ちや経歴について、ドジャースとの出会い、専属リポーターになった時のこと、さらに、ドジャースの選手について、大谷選手とパヘス選手の関係などについて語りました。番組内では、ワトソンさんの人生や成功哲学に MC を務める2人が驚く場面もありました。ここからは、その様子を字幕付きでご紹介します。
Let's get into it. We're so excited to have you on.
I know.
Thank
No,
you.
you really have been someone from the beginning that we've been wanting to talk to. So thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Talk Dodgers to me, Kirsten.
I love it. Thank you guys for having me. And I love what you guys are doing. Like, it's awesome. And so I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh,
Aw,
yay. Thank you. That
thank
means a lot
you.
to us.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Before we even get into anything, I
Mhm.
just need to ask you. We just celebrated a weekend of Clayton Kershaw. We were both at the game on Friday night.
Amazing.
That is a memory that we will both take with us forever. I mean, just
Mhm.
I was even thinking about just like nuggets that I'm taking away from that night when everybody is comparing stories of who loves Kershaw more. Like that just says so much to
I
who
know.
he is. The
Yeah.
Dodgers organization making it work with him year after year to play for one team, 18
Yeah.
years. Can you just tell us what it's been like to join the Dodgers, to see who he is, and
Mhm.
now the weekend that we just celebrated him announcing his retirement? Like, what
Yeah.
is this from your viewpoint?
Yeah, so when I first joined the organization now 5 years ago, it was right after they had won the World Series in 2020. And, you know, from what I had heard about Clayton, he was someone, he's obviously such a competitor and so talented, but he had always had this kind of chip on his shoulder because he had never won just yet. And so I was coming in after he had won. So people were kind of just like, you're getting this this guy who finally achieved his goal. And I think for me, that was really cool because it was just like I was almost kind of like meeting a new person. And even sometimes when I talk to other reporters who have been around the organization for so long, Clayton is someone like on his start days, they'd be like, don't look him in the eye, don't do all these different things. And I was like, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into? Like, okay. um, if he has a bad outing, like it might be a tough interview. And that was just never my experience, Like I think and like to be fair, it could be because I joined the organization after they had won and all these different things, but like he is someone who he works so hard, he cares so much. He's been nothing but supportive of me since I've joined this organization. I'm grateful that, I get to call him a friend today, which is I think just amazing. But no, he is one of and it's I also think because I have kind of this perspective of not only do I see what he's doing for himself and just like his family and things like that, but I also see the impact that he has just on the clubhouse, on our younger players who have looked up to him like their entire lives. And so just seeing those interactions, yes, he is this superstar. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's all of the things, but he's also just like a normal man. And I
Yeah.
think that's what makes him so special is like he has the aura, he has all of these different things, but also he just is someone who like doesn't lean into that stuff. He's just like
Yeah.
I show up, I do my job, I rock my Skechers, and this is who I am. So,
He does
and I
rock
love
those
that. Yeah,
Skechers.
he sure. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And they're like,
You,
I'm like, oh, are they cool? Yes, they are. Okay.
I know I always laugh like, being born and raised in LA and
Mhm,
growing up with Kirsch in so many ways,
mhm.
even becoming an adult myself and seeing this guy, it's like every phase, it's like I admire him even more now just as a person he is. And
Yeah,
as an adult to see the career and what has been put in this kid's hands, really,
yeah.
and the person that he continued to shape himself to be during it
Mhm.
all. I'm just like, yeah, I'm more in awe of him as a human being now than
No, that's
really
so
anything.
true. That's so
Mhm.
true. And like what he does for the community, what he's done through Kershaw's challenge, like this is stuff that is really just true to who he is as an individual. It's true to who he and Ellen are. Like it's
Mhm.
just even I think about earlier this year when all of the fires happened in Southern California, I was working with the foundation and we were in Pasadena helping those who were impacted by the Altadena fires. And we had just different items, clothes, diaper, like you name it. We had so many things, towels, socks, undergarments, like all the things. Um, and the amount of boxes that were sent in from the Kershaws in Texas, like,
Wow.
I mean, like it was enough to fill like 3 hotel rooms. Like it was insane how much stuff they had just sent. And I think that's just also like so representative of who they are as individuals,
Mhm.
the values that they have, how they care. Like they've not only chosen to, yes, play and represent the Dodgers and everything they do, but just who they are as individuals. So it's, and I think those are perfect examples as to like who Clayton and just who his family is. They care
Yeah.
so deeply about the organization, about, yes, his career, and he has put himself in a position that he could have the success on the field by working hard, by taking care of his body, the surgeries, all of these things. But there's also so much more to him
Mhm.
that people see, but I hope they really like remember as well.
Do you
Yeah.
think he understands the magnitude of his legacy in baseball and to Dodger fans, how much he really means to us all?
I think so. I think so. And I think we're seeing that right now. Like by him sharing that he's going to retire. Like
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I always kind of thought that he was someone who like the season would end, it would be like some talks like is this it? And then maybe he would say, I think I'm done. Like but it's during the
Yeah.
off season.
Yeah,
So the
were you
fact that
shocked?
yes, I was shocked in regard to just like the announcement.
Hmm.
Um but I there were a few things that like kind of would happen or like someone would say and I'd be like, is this it? Maybe this is it. But there was no just like confirmation. So I definitely was shocked by the announcement. But I think the announcement is so telling is because I don't necessarily see him as the personality of like wanting to be celebrated all year and
Hmm.
like this um like goodbye tour of such, but the fact that he was willing and that he wanted to share a final weekend with the fans, like to me, that is so telling
Hmm.
as to he understands what he means to the organization, to the fan base, and to have just like that whole weekend, as you guys were talking about, was whether it was the game, whether it was the 3,000 strikeout bobblehead,
Oh, yeah.
whether it was just addressing the fans ahead of the game on Sunday, like all of those things are like that's an unforgettable weekend for all
Yeah.
of us.
It
Yeah.
felt pretty perfect.
And it
Mhm.
felt very on brand of him.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
we've been saying all season, it's so well, one, it's like we just wanted him to have this season of it doesn't need to be superstar stuff. It doesn't need to be crazy.
Yeah.
It just needs to be consistent. And I wanted it for him. I just wanted him to come out, do what he knows how to do, feel good
Yeah.
about himself,
Yeah.
and it's kind of what it's been. And then like even his speech, I was like, is he gonna say Kershaw out? Like give us another like and that's like
Mamba.
so not him,
Yeah.
obviously. And it's like, but he kept his speech very him. And
Yeah.
It's
I
nice
know.
to see him smile
I
and have
know.
fun.
Mhm.
Even
I
like
know.
last night, watching him in the bullpen, it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
we could talk to you about him all
I
day,
know.
but we
Yes.
have you here and we're so happy about that. So I want to go back to the beginning a bit.
Mhm.
Where did you grow up? Where are you from? Did you
Yeah.
have sports in your family?
Yeah, I grew up in Orlando, Florida. I was an athlete. I played volleyball in college. I played at Northwestern, and then I ended up transferring, finished at Columbia. But yes, I did grow up in a very tall family. So all of us, whether it was you name it, soccer, basketball, tennis, volleyball, we play a little bit of everything. My I have an uncle who did play professionally and like things like that, but I think in our home, it was very much academics, and then sports were just a way to keep you well rounded, being a part of team activities. And so that is something that, yeah, it's been a part of my identity. And I think as I got older and when I was one deciding to play in college and then done playing in college, I had to figure out just kind of what I wanted to do next.
Mhm.
And through that, and honestly, through watching like college game day on Saturday mornings, I kind of just started to understand who I could be, not as the athlete, but still working in sports. And so that's kind of all where it stemmed from. But yes, sports have always been a part of me. Honestly, I think just like quote unquote being an athlete was
Mhm.
all I saw myself as for such a long time. And so now being in this space, I think it's something that connects me with other athletes and stuff. So, but yeah, let's.
It's crazy you say that because
Hmm.
that was my identity for so long, you know. It's like
Hmm.
even when people are like, you know, like what were you good at? Like what are you just naturally good at? It's like
Yeah,
honestly it was sports. It was softball, it
exactly.
was volleyball. It was like that
Yeah.
was where my escape was. And I always say that they don't talk about it enough, the transition of coming off being an athlete
Hmm.
and moving into real world and figuring out what you are without that discipline of like
Yeah.
what you are workout wise, what you are
Yeah.
in all of the things, like what your body's going to do, what you're, you know, I recently saw this thing that Serena Williams, they're like, she's losing so much weight. I'm like, she's not competing as an elite athlete. She's losing muscle and she's
Mm.
just becoming a normal human in a sense, you know, but it's like,
Yeah,
people
no.
just don't talk about things like that.
And it's very
Um,
jarring. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's mentally, it's a very jarring experience. Like you mentioned, just on your body, it's very different, especially when you go from when you're competing at a high level and you're training in a very specific way, and then all of a sudden, like you just have all this free time. Like you're like, what do I do?
I
Who
know. I'm
am
like,
I?
no one ever asked me to do a power clean again. But
Yes.
when I was doing it, it was like so efficient for what I was doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's amazing. And
Mhm.
honestly, just as an app, I saw you, and usually people are just smaller in person, whether, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what has she played a sport? And someone's like volleyball. I was like, my girl, I could tell you are volleyball. And I was like, all right, we're gonna have to pepper next time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I would love that. It's funny.
Yeah.
We had a player in spring training a few years ago, and he liked to play volleyball. And we would always say like we're gonna just like one day like pepper with each other. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's one of those things where it definitely like I'm so grateful for the time that I spent playing and everything I learned just from being a teammate, from being a competitor. Um, and I think at first when I stopped playing, I did feel very lost, just kind of like, who am I? How do I identify? Like things like that. And I do, this is where I'm grateful that like, because I do come from a very like academic family, my grandfather was the president of two universities and like, with going to Northwestern and then transferring to Columbia, my brother was at Columbia and I think he was also very athletic, but he was like the genius of the family. And when I transferred there, I kind of was like, this is his school. I don't really know if this is the right fit for me. Honestly, I wanted to transfer to Mizzou, and my mom was like teasing me. She's like, I love you so much, but like, I'm not coming to visit you in Missouri. Like, I'm so sorry. She was like,
That's
respectfully,
so
like,
good.
I'm not coming to visit you here. um, so with obviously with New York City, she's like, now here I can come. We can do
Hmm.
this. So
Hmm.
we can go shopping, we can go to the plays, like all of the things. Um, and but with going there, it did athletically, it was a lower level, which I think kind of challenged my ego, if I'm being honest. But it forced me to recognize like not only can I keep up athletically here, but like I can keep up academically here. And I am very smart. And I do have this now. It helped me understand myself in a different way that I don't think I was originally thinking with going to college. Going into college, I was like, I want to go to the big state school and I want to, like, I grew up in Florida, the University of Florida. Like, I was in the Tim Tebow era, you know? Like, so I think I envisioned my college experience as going to one of these big state schools and, people would come to our volleyball games and I would be one of these like top student athletes and all these different things. And, um, that was not the experience that I got. Northwestern was basically like, yes, it was in the Big Ten, but athletics were second to academics, which is like technically how it's supposed to be. I
I
recognize
know.
that, but
Yeah. Hmm. But
um,
like, how dare you make me actually live that reality?
thank you. Exactly. And like I wanted to be in my own little like, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
delusional mindset. Like I want to be like what they're doing at Alabama. Okay. So but ultimately I'm very grateful that my parents saw like you need to be challenged in a different way and
Mhm.
ultimately they were correct. And so when I left Columbia, I had just kind of a different understanding of myself as a young woman, as a young adult, and then going into the workforce, it was not only can I compete with some of the best, but like I'm just as smart, if not smarter, than these people I'm around. And so I think it was just a different shift that I kind of needed to go.
Yeah. It
Ex-
forced you to look at your
Mhm.
other strengths.
Mhm.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So even now, when I tell like young women who want to play sports in college, I'm like, there are way more opportunities today than we had when we were finishing school. If you look at Athletes Unlimited, professional volleyball in the US is now a thing. And when I was playing, it was only overseas or Team USA. Uh, the fact that there's women's softball leagues now. The NWSL has gotten so big. There's so many more opportunities today that we didn't have, and so now there is life after college athletics that you can continue playing professionally at such a high level. But I think for me, it's still you need to understand like how bad do you want that? Is that something that you've always
Mhm.
envisioned for yourself? But also at recognizing it is going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
And now, yes, there's NIL money and there's all these different things. Social media has completely changed the game, but
Mhm.
you're still not making as much money as the WNBA. They're making most of their money on deals and partnerships, and they're not making their money off of their
Mhm.
salaries. So that's where I think it's still just so more important that like if you have the opportunity, especially as like a college athlete, where I had the privilege, I could have gone almost anywhere I wanted to go, and like when you have that choice, how can you take advantage of it? And so
Totally.
Yeah. And
yeah,
even from
so
what you're saying, like listening to what Mookie does with his foundation and
yeah,
setting kids up for success with finances and things that, man, I wish that I kind of learned when I when
hmm
I was that age too. But okay, so after Columbia, well, one, how did you like living in New York?
oh, I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. Had the time of my life. I'm so grateful that, especially, I'm so grateful that I was there when I first got out of school, just because
Mm-hmm.
I think it taught me like a hustle and a
Mm-hmm.
grind that I don't know if living somewhere else would have taught me. I
Yeah.
think because you're primarily surrounded by people who are in like banking and finance, and here I am on like this creative arts experience of like, oh, how can I? um, I want to work in sports. I want to do this, and my first jobs were in production, so behind the scenes. But yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I have some of my dearest friends. I think just the fact that obviously you're using the train system to get around or the subway to
Mm-hmm.
get around. So you're way more social. Like it's easy
Yeah.
after work to like go grab drinks and then go do this. And then you end up going home. So whereas
Yeah.
LA, that's a little bit harder to do. So I think, yeah, no, it was amazing. And then I moved out to LA for a year to work for the NFL. Then after that, went back to Columbia for grad school, then went to ESPN in Connecticut, which I was like, don't love this experience. Don't think I loved being in Bristol, Connecticut, to be honest. But that's okay. Um, and then went back to LA. And at that point, my parents were like, we need you to pick a coast because the back and forth, who do you think is funding this? Like, this is not. So, yeah. So then I was like, I pick LA. And then, yeah, the rest was history now.
Oh
And
my
then I was
God.
like, let's compete in a beauty pageant. Let's just do it all,
What?
Why not?
You
Wow.
Yeah,
did?
so I did. Yeah, Miss
How
Florida
fun.
USA once upon a time.
Oh.
So yeah, I was
See, this
just
is
like,
why I
let's
love you. I
just
love an athlete that can just be like a little fashionista and like you're just like all of it. I know. I love it. I love
I was
it.
like, let's just, like, come on, let's keep going. Why not? Let's live a little. But then COVID happened
How'd you do in the
and
beauty pageant?
I was a first runner up. Yeah. I know
Wow.
they wanted
That's
me to
For
come back.
impressive.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
they wanted me to come back and compete the next year. And I was like, yeah, so that was it for me. I actually just like aged out. But now there's no rules like for because at the time you aged out at 28. That's when I had competed. Um Now there's no
Man.
aging out. So like I could do a
I'd
comeback
be in
We're,
the
we
I'd
are
be in the
grandmas.
I'd be in the geriatric.
right? No, that's how I feel. I'm
I
like,
know.
I don't think I have that anymore in me."
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe something fun
I
comes
know.
up.
Well, I love
You
hearing
know.
everything you just said because I know that there's going to be people listening that want to do what you're doing right now. And it
yeah.
seems like
I'm
you were
sorry.
kind of open to learning anything you could. And
hmm
every step you took kind of opened your eyes to something new. And you just never really know what could happen unless you lean in towards where you
Yeah.
want to go and what field it is. So even
Yeah.
thinking about like each day and seeing this and, oh, maybe I want to work in this department.
Mhm.
Maybe I want to work in
Mhm.
this department. I
I'm
love
yeah.
that. And that's so encouraging for I just
Mhm.
think anyone that wants to work in any field, you just got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
You don't
and
know where it's going to take you.
I also think what's so important is just like one, you don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know what you're going to like. Like you really like you might think you want to do this and then you'll go out there and you'll realize this is actually not for me. I think you also have to look at your career, I think, in phases. And I
Mhm.
think what we're seeing today, like these jobs aren't forever.
Mhm.
Like I won't have this job forever, and I'm going to be so supportive of who comes after me. And I don't know what I'll go on to next. But like there might be a day where I decide that, okay, well, maybe I don't want to be in this space anymore. And I have to be confident in myself and know that I have the skill set to do other things. And I think
Mhm.
because of my work with the international team, because of the work I've done behind the scenes, like I feel that. I have a master's degree. I could go work in the education system if I wanted to do that. I could go, that was one of the big reasons I went to get my master's was that so I could teach one day if I wanted to do that. I could go, I think when you're seeing all of the things and when you're in the job, you understand how it takes so many different roles to come together to make each other successful.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I can understand that because I've worked in different spaces. But two, it's like, okay, well, what happens if like down the line I decide I
Mhm.
want to do that? I
Mhm.
have the skill set and the interest, and you can learn anything. That's one thing I learned with this job. Like if you put your head down and you grind, like you can truly learn anything. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to tell you that now. This was very hard for me, but like I don't know. It's just I think it reminds you in like different ways that there's so
It
many
also builds
opportunities.
confidence. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
you build confidence within yourself to be
Mhm.
able to feel comfortable
Yeah.
when a pivot needs to happen or stuff
Exactly.
like that.
And it's exciting, to just keep your like blind. I always say like we got to keep our blinders open because you
Mhm.
just never really know what is going to come and
Yeah.
what feels good right now, or
Yeah.
people are like, what are your goals? What are your end goals? I'm like,
Look at
dude,
us
I
right
have
now.
no idea. I mean, I know what my goals are for like this year and what the
Yeah.
things I want to see, but like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening in a year or
Yeah.
so. Like, I'll let you know.
Truly. We don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen next week, but it's so
Yeah.
exciting and we're so happy to be here. So
Yeah.
it's like we can plan as much as we can, but also just trusting all
Mhm.
those corny quotes I used to hear over the
Oh
years,
my
like
goodness.
trust the journey, all that stuff. I feel like I'm really living it right
I
now.
know. I know.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I definitely like growing up had a Pinterest board of just like all of these quotes. Like I was definitely the quotes girly.
Oh,
Me
I
yeah.
can't
too.
say I was like the live, laugh, love, even though I
No, no.
probably was, but like I definitely had like they were quotes everywhere.
Me
And
too.
I just think that like there's something so powerful about that. And I will just quickly, you guys had said, you never know where life's going to take you or like what doors are going to open. Well, like I'm truly an example of that. Like I never in my wildest dreams, I don't think I ever imagined working for the Dodgers. I don't think I ever imagined working in baseball. That wasn't really where my thought process was going. I was working in basketball, I was working in football. Like I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to lean in on these big two. And I'll never forget, I got a phone call and they were like, so listen, this is what's happened. It's not up, it was from Spectrum. They're like, it's not up to us. This is a Dodgers decision, but we are putting your name in the running and we think that you would be a great fit for this new job or for this job, excuse me. And you've been working so hard. And it was just kind of like the opportunities that were on the Lakers side, there just wasn't any like movement for me to kind of step in into a full-time role. And all of a sudden, this one opened up and they were like, we believe you can do this.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I went through the interview process and they were like, listen, and I was like, are we sure?
my
And this is when like the imposter syndrome comes in and you're just like, I don't know if I'm the right fit for this job, like da da da. And they really liked me and they saw something and they were like, and it's funny. So I like with my bosses at Spectrum, I used to always tease. And honestly, in general, it's kind of like, well, like I have 2 Ivy League degrees. Like I can do anything. Like that was kind of like my like, little
Yeah.
rebuttal.
Uh-huh.
And of course, my boss was like, remember when you were like, I have 2 Ivy League degrees, I can do anything? Well, like you can learn baseball. And I was like, okay, you're not wrong. Here we
Oh
go.
my gosh.
I really want to go back to just like when you started with the Dodgers.
Hmm.
One, you took over for Alana, who was so
Hmm.
beloved in the
Yeah.
Dodger community. I wonder if she's become a mentor or anything
Hmm.
like that. And you didn't know baseball that well. So
Yeah.
what was your like crash course of learning or what did
Ooh.
you do when you got the job and were like, all right, this is going to be my life now?
Yeah, it was a crash course to say the least.
Did you watch like every backstage Dodgers? Were you
I did
rewatching
watch a lot of
games?
backstage Dodgers. Yeah, I watched a lot of backstage. I think honestly, like anything and everything. Interviews, I think when I was at spring training, listening to people were asking questions. My biggest challenge was my job is so much about building relationships and understanding like what works for each individual player. Not everyone likes to be interviewed the same. A lot of guys don't like talking about themselves, so you kind of have to like sneak it in there, you know? um, and when I first joined, it wasn't like the COVID season, but it was still COVID protocols. So like all of my interviews were from a distance, and I mean like 6 feet apart, if not like 12 feet apart. Or they were through Zoom, which I'm sure you guys remember Zoom meetings, and just there's the delay, or there's the, there's not like the back and forth you're really having. So it was, yeah, it was a lot. And when the team would be on the road, I would literally be in a suite at Dodger Stadium by myself in this room, like talking to the TV, like literally, like someone would put a headset on the TV, and there would be a camera in front of me, and I'm literally interviewing them through the TV. Like it just was like,
Wow.
it was quite possibly the hardest thing I think I've ever done. I don't think I realized just how much I rely on just kind of like the human interaction and communication. So yeah, so that was very hard. You realize that like there are so many times we think we're like alone in these things and in these feelings, and I had to like really trust that there were so many people around me who were rooting for me. So whether it was like, when I tell you like the list goes on and on. Like, one, there was just my own personal village. It was my parents, my brother, like my family, my friends who showed up for me in ways I could have never imagined. Literally, my mom at the time was in grad school doing her master's program at the University of San Diego. She had a classmate who was on the baseball team, and she like, I guess, went up to this literal like, I don't know, 22-year-old boy and was like, so my daughter just got a new job with the Dodgers and she's really struggling. Can you teach her baseball? Like,
That's
literally. Like,
amazing.
so I had a
Both of
baseball
our moms
tutor.
would do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
like literally, this is such a mom thing.
That
So
is
like
so
literally,
sweet.
um, yeah, so I had a baseball tutor who, when I tell you, like I would have calls with him, like
Wait, so
like
you really did use this guy that your
yeah.
mom found?
No, no, no. His name is Paul. He's great. So
Oh,
like
Paul.
yeah, and
That's
Paul has forever
great.
Dodger tickets, honestly, whenever he
Oh,
needs them.
hey,
No,
Paul.
he literally, because he was, if I recall correctly, he was finishing playing at USD. He was in his master's as well. And he taught me how to score. He taught me just like kind of like the basics of the game. Then I would really rely heavily on like, so when it came to like interviewing a pitcher, like I'd often go to like oral and just be like, does this make sense if I ask this question, or like kind of what I'm looking at? Rick Krajewski, as you all
Hmm.
guys know very well,
Love
he
Rick.
speaks out. Oh my God, Rick is the best. Shout out, Rick. Um,
Doctor, as they call him
yeah,
on the
well, see,
broadcast.
I call him Ricky, but he's gonna hate that I put that on here. So
But
That's
anyway,
so
you're saying you
funny.
were learning from
sorry.
people like
Yeah,
Rick
yeah,
and
yeah. So
Oral.
yeah, and I think just, my producer Mike he was from day one someone who's always one, he's just like the best of the best, but like he realized very quickly, he was like, you need to travel, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you are traveling by the end of, like, this was my first year, 2021, by the end of the season, because none of the broadcasters were traveling. And so after the all-star break, I started traveling with the group. Then I started kind of like feeling like, okay, like I'm around, they're seeing me more, because I definitely felt like, I was like, they're probably like, who is this random girl who came out of nowhere. Because you're right, like, when you have someone who's been there for Alana was with the organization for 7 years. And so when you
Mhm.
have someone who's been around for so long, it's you're so used to seeing that. So when someone comes literally from out of nowhere, they're looking at me like, who is this girl?
They
Where
don't
did she
like bring
come
you into
from?
the clubhouse like, this is Kirsten. She's the new
Because there was COVID. So
Oh,
now we
right.
do this. If it was a
Okay.
normal year, yes. Like in a normal year, during spring training, they introduce everyone on the staff. You do like a full breakdown of who everyone is. Like that is the thing. We're all in the clubhouse at Hillback Ranch, but because this was COVID, none of this happened. Like this was a very it just yeah. Um, all of that to say is just like I lost my confidence. There were so many things in that first year. I really didn't know who I was. I didn't know up from down. Um, I everything I felt like I had worked for and the success that I was having as a reporter, as a host, things like that had gotten me to that point. It just kind of felt like it all went out the door. I really had to rely on like there are really amazing women in this industry that at the time I didn't really know too many in baseball, but like MJ Acosta, like Joy Taylor, like there were so many women who were on the football, basketball, Maria Taylor, and I have a dear friend Megan Triplett that at I had them in my corner to really just talk about kind of like the day to day and being a sideline reporter. And MJ early in her career had worked in baseball. So she kind of helped me out. And also like in baseball, there's all these unwritten rules and all these different things that I was just like, I can't keep up. I don't know what's happening. I can't keep up. But all of that to say, like, you really realize there are so many people around you who want you to be successful. So I think when I started just like asking for help, that's when things really changed. Um, so yeah, so it was a whirlwind of a first year. You asked about
Mhm.
Alana. We have a friendship, and I'm very grateful for that friendship. We actually saw. What did I see? I saw her in Boston because now so she's doing work with Nesson and of course yeah primarily with Nesson I believe now and then of course Fell Territory.
Mhm.
So I'll see her here and there. Last time I was in Boston and then she was at spring training for like a day. So I got to see her briefly there. Um and then but I think just like once you started kind of asking for help and once I started to like understand what was going on. Like I remember there was a Zoom one day and Dave Roberts was talking about a sim game. And I'm like, what is a sim game? Like I was just like, I don't even know what these words mean. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm assuming like, okay, it's a simulated game. I understand that, but like what does that mean? And finally, when I was on the road, I would see these things. Like I'd be like, oh, got it. It's
Yeah.
literally like, it's not no, it's not, a full like lineup of guys, but like they are finding a way to recreate somewhat of a game setting.
Mhm.
Um, then there is, I think that was so in 2021, um, it was funny. I remember I would just like be sitting because I wasn't allowed in the clubhouse because again, COVID protocols. So I would go to the stadium on like the first bus because I did not know what time I was supposed to be there because I didn't know anything. And I'm the only one traveling from the broadcast team. So I'm just kind of like
Wow.
trying not to be a nuisance. I was like, let me just be like invisible. Um, and I would sit right outside of the clubhouse door and I would read my notes and I would do all these and I would just kind of like go over things and like write down like questions or I would like transcribe different things. And then it was funny because like Corey Seager, he would bring out the iPad and he'd always be working on his swing, like kind of nearby. And I'd be like, am I in your way? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, would you like me to move? And he would just be like, no, like you stay there, you're fine. And over time, we kind of just like started to like "Oh, how are you? Okay, cool." Like, like you start to like build conversation day by day. And like I think that was like very pivotal, like in our like development of just like a relationship and then in like interviewing him and feeling more comfortable and things like that. And
It like
those are
humanized everything for
yeah,
you. It's like,
yeah,
wait, this isn't just a screen and you're not just 6 feet away. And I'm not just like,
yeah,
yeah, it's like, I'm not a robot just trying to learn the game and afraid to say anything wrong. Like, wait a minute,
exactly.
we're just humans. Yeah.
Yes. And also like I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to like own my mistakes. And then if I need to apologize, I will apologize. But also like I am not here to do like I'm on your team. Like really and truly. And I think by them seeing me and seeing how I was trying and seeing how I was listening and seeing how I would ask questions on the side and just be like, okay, so like, what are you working on by doing this? And what does this mean? Or I don't like, you're the professional. Like, please explain it to me. And then I can do my very best to explain it to elsewhere. And also, like, I never want to say something that's going to put you in a poor situation or be
Mhm.
uh, a negative representative of what you're
Totally.
saying. So I think it just all started to build trust. And not that I think like they were maybe like testing me or anything, but I do think they wanted to see how hard I was working and how hard I was trying. And by me literally sitting there and like reading all of these things and trying all these things and like asking questions and just showing up, I think they started to realize like, oh, like she wants this. Like she's
Yeah.
gonna figure it out. And so yeah, it began there. And then like, let's be honest, baseball is truly a sport of failure. And so that in itself is a mental grind. Like this is where I'm very grateful. Like I actually never played any games of failure. Like if playing basketball, if I have the perfect form and shoot the ball, it likely will go in. You know, more times than not, it's going to go into the hoop. In volleyball, yes, of course, there's defenders, things like that, but like if I place the ball in the right spot, like I should find success.
Mhm.
Um, Baseball is not like that. You could literally hit the ball perfectly, but it just happens to like go to where a
I know.
defender is.
It's just
Like,
like right
you
there in the
know,
glove. And I'm
just
just
right there. But like you
Yep.
literally did everything right. You
Mhm.
could literally place a pitch perfectly. The spin, all the things we break down could be perfect and they could still hit a grand slam. You know, like it just is the reality of it. So, that being said, like there are so many like mental layers of this sport that I'm seeing it, but like no, I don't know it firsthand. But how I get to see them show up every day, how I see how hard they work every day, like just think about like our bodies. Like I go to Pilates. I don't know. Say if I went to Pilates like 6 of the 7 times this week, that is huge for me. That is a very good week. These guys are literally playing and working out every single day. And like
Mhm.
no complaints, nothing. Like, so I
Wow.
think when you're seeing that, it really puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just find that I think I don't get the highs and lows because one, I can't because it's my job not to, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but it's also because it's what I've seen. I've
Mhm.
only been a part of a baseball organization that doesn't have like they're so even keel. I always say when I look at the Dodgers, a it's a blue collar team and like a white collar city. And by saying that, it's just like this is a group of guys that they are so talented. They are, you know, obviously they're extremely well paid, but like they aren't you're not going to find the super flashy like everyone is kind of we show up, we're respectful, we do our jobs, and that is what makes us great. Like when you have Shohei, Freddie, Clayton, Mookie, like the list goes on and on, but like these aren't guys that are like they're just like normal men. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know how to explain it. They're really just like normal guys and they show up, they work very hard. Mookie's literally out there for hours, whether it's,
Yeah.
you know, doing work in the cage, on the field, making himself better every single day. So like yes, a part of it is a natural skill and talent and athleticism, but it's the other part of it is how hard he works. And I think when you see that as just like the baseline example, that means the younger players who are coming in, when you're seeing the greatest of the greatest in their work ethics, you're going to start to embody that. And I think even for me, it's similar, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's the guys I see on the field, whether it's who we have in the booth, you know, I get to watch or listen to and build friendships and all these different things. It's Joe Davis, it's Steven Nelson, it's Oral Hershiser, it's Jessica Mendoza, like the list, Tom Trell Willis, the list literally goes on and on. Eric Karros, you name it. Then you've got on the pre and post game show, we've got John Hartung and Jerry Harrison Jr., and Nomar Garcia Parra and Adrian. And like I'm surrounded by so much greatness that like it would be a disservice to myself and to them to not aspire to be just as great. And
Really.
that is
Mhm.
where I get so lucky. And like it
Yeah.
makes you show up and work hard every single day.
Yeah, it makes you thrive.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
inspired just listening to you.
know.
And we, you
Man,
know,
thank you.
it's hard for us to talk to people who are fans of other teams if they're hating on our team because
Mhm.
with everything you just said, our guys are so likable. They're role
Yeah.
models, they're leaders, they're really all around good guys and the most talented players
I know.
ever.
Yes.
So it's hard when
It's like, I
someone
don't know
says
what
like
to love you for.
my aunt, she's like, I hate Clayton Kershaw. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Or Freddie Freeman. We hate
Yeah.
Freddie. I'm like, how
How?
could you hate
Yes.
I
Like
know.
tell me
tell you
how.
the story? Can I tell you what he
Yes.
went through last year?
Like, it's
How
not
do you
even that
hate
I
a guy?
like, just love him for that grand slam and all the other things. Like,
Yeah.
how do you listen to an interview and like he's probably going to choke up about something that's going to make me choke up? Like, I don't know how you can hate these people. Even Otani, I'm like, he stops and talks to every dog.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
There's
There's all
matcha.
the
I know you love
things.
matcha.
Ah, God, I love matcha. I do.
We
And we're-
we learned how to make it when we went to Tokyo
Ah,
for the
amazing.
opening series. So we did. I
Yes.
know you don't you make yours every day?
I do. I do.
I'm not, yeah, we're
Um,
not at that level, but we did take a little course to
Yeah.
learn how
Yes.
to do it.
It's a cool, it's, you know, I also, this is my extremely like type A Capricorn self. There's something very therapeutic about like making it. And I think I've enjoyed the process.
the process.
And
totally.
yeah, but I also, even though the guys try to tease me, like, it tastes like grass. And I'm like, relax. It does not. It's actually very like warm and all the things. I'm trying to make a few more matcha drinkers in the clubhouse. It's not going so well, but that's okay. That's
I mean,
okay.
I think you at least have a few.
Oh, I do. Don't you
Yeah.
worry. It's actually kind of best case scenario now because so usually on like Sunday mornings there will, or a morning game in general, there will be like a coffee cart in the clubhouse, and now they have matcha. And I know it's not like
Oh.
just for me, even though like I sometimes like to pretend it is.
Let's
It's
just
obviously
pretend it is.
probably for like, I don't know. I don't think Shohei's I mean, I'm sure he drinks matcha, but I don't think that's his drink of choice in the morning. I feel like he's actually a coffee drinker. But like I'm just, you know, grateful. I'm like, yes, bring more matcha
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me and for you guys, you know?
And
Um,
Japanese toilets.
It does, yeah, it does seem
Yeah,
like when
we
you
do.
ask
They
for
have,
things, they do say yes, like
Yeah.
Roki coming in and wanting those Japanese toilets.
Yeah, they do have the heated toilets, which honestly was so funny. So we first experienced it in Korea.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when we were in Korea last year, and like, first of all, just like coworkers talking about toilets is like quite possibly the funniest thing ever because it was like,
we landed and we had an event at Legends, and this was my first ever
Mhm.
interview, and it was Kirby Yates, and then Oral came on to sit and chat with us for a little,
Yeah.
and he was like, "How is Japan?" I was like, "The toilets," and he was like, "Oh, everyone just wants to sit between two beautiful girls and talk about Japanese toilets," and
yes.
I
I'm like,
know.
"But these
Your
toilets."
reaction,
Yes.
that was so funny.
Yeah.
That
No,
was
but like literally because I think it was like, so when we landed in Korea, it was kind of late and everyone was a little bit jet lagged, but there was food downstairs. And so it was like everyone like brought their bags to their rooms and then they came downstairs and it was like this unspoken, like people would be like, so like, did you like go in the bathroom or like, how nice was the bathroom? And then they would be like, but like the toilet. Did you? And it was
I
like,
mean, you were like, "I love these." I was
Yes.
like, "Get out."
yeah, no, it
I
literally,
with
it was
the door
such a
shut,
thing.
yelling, "Oh my god, this is so cool!"
Yes, no. Yeah, no, it was literally the funniest thing. And just like all of us being like, but like, did you sell the toilet?
Yeah.
Did you? Did you?
Anyone who's listening
So,
and hasn't experienced one of these toilets, you got
Yeah.
it.
You've got
You
it.
You
have
gotta
to.
go to
No,
Japan.
literally.
You gotta go to Korea. Actually, I mean, people install them in their houses now.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're living in the past. So we should for
I mean,
We have a
sure.
lot to learn.
Yeah,
That
we.
was
I
my
was
biggest
like, how do you
takeaway.
guys have a public bathroom and it's raining and there's no mud or anything on the floor? And there's
No.
not a custodian there with a mop.
Like music.
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yes, just
It's-
everything was beautiful.
They think of
Everything.
everything.
yeah,
They
I know,
do.
it's so good.
I'm
But
so glad
the
you guys
Dodgers
went to
seem to
that.
think of everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they do. And that's where it's like, I think when some people are kind of like the question marks around just is this team really ready for October? You know, some of those bullpens, they're going to figure it out. They have shown each and every year that
Mhm.
they will find a way. And At this rate, nothing should surprise us if we're being honest. So it's hopefully going to be a very exciting postseason run. I think they're not necessarily leaning into as much as I think maybe like the media and the rest of us are like, how amazing would it be to see Kershaw just kind of end on the highest of notes, retire as a dish, like adding another World Series championship to his belt. Like that would be, we feel it. I do think the guys in the clubhouse feel that as well. So sometimes it just takes like a little small thing to kind of hold on to that brings them
Mhm.
together come October. And they
Mhm.
know what it takes. They've done it. They won recently. Yes, it's hard to go back to back, but I don't know. I just feel like there's so many like kind of up, so many things are up for grabs right now when you just look at this
Mhm.
postseason picture that it could be anyone's game. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah.
Potheads.
I knew it. We do player of the
Yeah.
week every week, and
Oh, I
more
love
times than
that.
not, Jacqueline's
I
choosing
just
Andy.
can't.
He's been amazing.
He's been
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we like people wanted him gone, and then he just used that as fuel, and he's just been so locked in. I just am enjoying watching him as a player
Yeah, and he's
so
grown so
much.
much.
How
Yeah.
is he? Give me a little nugget. His personality. He doesn't really show
His
very much.
personality, no, he's kind of private and a little bit quieter, but he's a really nice guy. He's really nice. He's like, but yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's kind of funny, like like subtle funny. Um,
I love it.
he likes to like him and like Shohei kind of joke around a lot, which I love seeing. Like there was one time where it would be like one hit a home run, and the other one's a home run, and they were like going back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so like things like that is really fun.
That the heckler, when the heckler, the Padres guy, when he was at the game,
Yeah.
that was Andy hit the homer. Shohei looks back. Then he
Mhm.
hits the homer.
Yeah,
Oh, I
see,
love
there's
that.
always like something going on between those two, especially when like
Keep it going.
yeah,
Like,
keep an eye
seriously.
on them. Whenever one gets going, the other one, like keep an eye on those two.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。